Hello everybody, this video is looking at Stan Smith. Sad thing is he did die earlier on this year, but he did a lot of work, a lot of research. Obviously I think those are the sun there, but he was more into the moon, well the sky really. It very much intrigued him, and what it is that he got a 360 camera for there, see these for the ones there with the clouds, sunrise and stuff like that. He had a 360 camera up on his roof, and well, we'll show in a minute because it will be coming up in a moment. This here, what he did was he took moon readings, there's the moon readings, and he put them in a goggle set, you know, a headset, and when he put them in the headset they matched in with what the headset was doing. So basically what it was showing was that in your perspective the sun, the moon and the stars, all of it, they come out of the ground and they go into the ground, which is what this is showing you. So he was always wanting more readings, and it didn't quite happen like he wanted it to. But I really liked his bright mind. See, he's just a clever bod. He'd work things out, and he wasn't just doing it. It wasn't just him. There was other people as well. Cosmic Surfer. There was other people, but you know, Stan was my real connection. I mean, this is probably 2017, 18, somewhere like that, when he did this. But everything always matched in with the headset. Into the ground, out of the ground, into the ground, out of the ground. And obviously, like the one before, it was much bigger. It depended where you were, whether you were nearer the North Pole or further away from the North Pole. Some of the readings, that's the lines here will be different depending on how close you are to the North Pole. When I first saw this video, I was like, wow. Because once you realise that it is something very like this, yeah, my whole, you know, I'm not saying it hasn't changed and there's been other things, but something like this, you just think, my whole life has just changed. Because you saw something different now and understood something different. Like, wow. And I much appreciate Stan Smith. Anyway, what it is this is his 360 camera on his roof. I was like, look at that sun thing going, like, wow, beam me up, Scotty. Here we come. This one quite amazes me. Right, the sun is coming towards you, but when you look at the shadow, you know, the sun glare on the land, you realise that the sun is turning round. The sun's turning round. You can see it with the shadow. Yeah, the shadow's getting bigger and closer, but it's turning the sun round, and what it is in a minute you're going to see it even more. Oh, I wish that I'd noticed this when Stan was alive. Anyway, poor old Stan. He was still in his 30s, I think. Such just tragic. But anyway, he'd be quite happy me showing you this. Anyway, what it is I suddenly noticed that on the house, no, it'll come from the left in a moment, that the sun started coming back. So you can see the chimneys on his roof in front of his house, and you've just seen the sun So I was like, wow, and it'll be back in a moment, it will come. Here it comes. That's in the left hand corner there. That's the sun coming back. How does that happen? It's going back where it's come from. It's going back the same way. It's just come from. Well, this footage is obviously sped up. It's time lapse, but the sun's back and it's now going back the other way. Like, how does that happen? Anyway, in a moment, here comes the sun glare. They're going to meet together and we're going to blob off again. Here they come. They're attracted. Here it comes. Attraction. Now we're in the lava lamp. Lava lamp. Lava lamp. Lava lamp. Oh, beam me up, Scotty. It's a bit crazy, isn't it? I don't think I've ever really noticed that before on footage. Anyway, wow. Now it's just going to get dark. Because he just left his camera up there and would record 24/7 and then put the videos on later on. Hours of it. That's the moon going there on the right. And here comes dawn. This was, it says a year ago. He hadn't put anything on his channel for a bit, to be honest. Here comes the sun. And I think it's just going to do the same thing. You're going to watch it turn round. I mean, these are only days apart. And the sun's coming in at different angles. I just don't understand how people get the amelinas. The sun does different things on different days. Comes in quick, goes out fast, comes in slow, goes out quick. You know, sometimes it's there, boom, and then sometimes it's like coming in from a long way. Look, the sun's turning round again. Well, that's what I think's going on. Here it comes, squidgy round. Squidgy round. That's what I think we're seeing. I was like, wow. Here it comes. It's turning round now. Do you see it? Wow. Wait. Did everybody know that? Because I didn't. Cool. Look at that. It's turning round. Stan, I love you. So sorry that I didn't notice that when you were here. To have a big long chat about that. You know, for the truthers, we quite miss him really. And you know, he was a bit younger, so he would have carried on for us. You know, here comes the rain and just look how low the clouds are. I mean, I've watched quite a few of his videos because I just couldn't get over how low the clouds were. They're only about 400, 500 feet up. And they don't even look like that on this footage. They don't really look much higher, do they, than the trees? Anyway, thank you very much, Stan, for doing your hard work and all the hours you spent putting this, you know, with the cameras and then downloading the footage and then putting it onto YouTube. But he's just shown that the sun is turning round. Wow, who knew that? And look how low the clouds are. Anyway, the sun was turning round. Did you see it? Hello everybody, this is a video from the past. This came off the original Sun and Moon group that YouTube deleted. But but I just thought it was interesting to re-put it back on. It was probably made about 2018. I can't remember now, but at the time, Space Cowboy let me use his footage and the original one just to show this. And when you actually think about it, when you see it, you realise how small it really is. Oh, it's so small. Anyway, let's watch the video, and thank you to Steve Collins, who took the footage, and to Space Cowboys, who remixed it. Anyway, let's continue.